Welcome to the £500 Pedalboard Challenge. Hey everyone, welcome to That Pedal Show. Dan here.
Mick here, hello. Right, £500 Pedalboard Challenge time. Please subscribe, please go to That Pedal Show store, please do all of that. It's very important. Don't do that. A few weeks ago we did the £250 Pedalboard Challenge, and at the end of the £250 challenge, which I resoundingly won...
You did. Fair enough.
I don't know. I don't think the viewers agreed, Dan, but anyway. And apparently, after our incredible efforts from the £250 Pedalboard Challenge, your dear great Irish aunt, Analogue, has left this mortal coil, may she rest in pieces, but much more importantly, has left you another £250. You can use it in any way you like to augment or improve your previous rig from the last show. So what you gonna do?
Daniel, Michael, Daniel, Michael, Daniel, 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 Michael, 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 Michael. Well, boys, it's your dear old Auntie Analogue calling from beyond this mortal coil. This mortal single coil, you might say. Ha, 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 ha. Now, I don't want to be taking up too much of your time now, because I can see that you're hard in training for the world's biggest Egypt competition. And let me tell you, boys, you're both doing spectacularly well, so you are. As you know, me and your Auntie Catherine, that's catalogue for those of you not concentrating at the back there, come on, wake up. We both did very, very well on the old cryptocurrency there on the dark web. Now, there's £500 between the two of you. And anybody sensible would spend it on something sensible, like the premium bands. But we know you boys, so help you God, will spend it on your silly pedals, so help you God, to make your guitars sound even worse than they already do. We leave you this money with some begrudging sense of obligation, boys. And we want to wish you both the very best in whatever your lives are going to bring you next. Spoiler alert, it's not much. And so it is, boys. It's Friday night, so we're off down the Jesus Arms to play darts with Elvis and that little fella from James Bond. Ha 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 ha.
Oh, bless her. My very fond memories.
What a miserable old cow. Anyway, we've got the cash, mate. Let's do it.
Okay, this is the board that was... and the switching between these two sides with this didn't work at all. So I'm going to replace that. Got a couple little project boxes and just made two momentary foot switches. Got this plugged in and we should see that one going on and that one going on. Great. So independent controls for each engine. Now, this is the interesting bit. You remember when I plugged this in, there was loads of noise. Now, I haven't tested this yet, but I want to show you something really interesting. My good friend Gordon Rankin got in touch. Check that out, the new Pedal Show mugs, they're fantastic. My good friend Gordon Rankin got in touch and said, these units are TRS balanced. I'm like, what are you talking about? And so I'm going through the manual, and on page 6 of the manual, we have balanced analog line outputs left and right, RF filter 1/4 inch. Okay, and then 7, balanced analog line inputs. Left and right, active analog 1/4 inch TRS, balanced, unbalanced line input. This is interesting because before I was just using a standard 1/4 inch input. However, if this is a balanced TRS connector, what I've done is I've taken the output of the last pedal in the chain, and that is now going to this TRS cable, where the hot signal hits both the ring and the tip.
So what I'm not 100% sure of how this works in this unit, because there's no documentation,
the output says, right, you've got a balanced or unbalanced TRS output, okay, that would mean that either the tip or the ring, the phase is flipped on that signal, because that's what they do. They have two signals, one phase is flipped and they go down the long cable, and it's a way that you reject noise. It's a very clever way to do it. I don't need balance. I've got no balance for it to go into. So all I'm going to try is just a standard TRS cable from both outputs, because I want left and right, and that will go straight into the input of the amplifiers. I'm only going to get one side, and it should be the tip, and hopefully, I mean, whether it's phase flipped or not, it won't really matter, as long as it's the same on both the left and right. So I'll try that. Now, if this works, this should get rid of the noise. So I understand, not so much on the input, but on the output, if I am grounding one of those balanced outputs, like I was in the previous video, then I understand how that might create some noise. So on this one, I'm not grounding. It's just going to be not connected. Hopefully that will solve the problem. We shall see. Now, the other part of this is I'm changing out this pedal. I'm changing out the turbo distortion. Into the Vox, it just didn't sound very good at all. Now, when you see the amp that I've chosen for this to go into, you'll understand why I'm doing this. So we're going to take this one off. One cool thing about that gel tape, oh man, that's really on there. There you go. So you see I had the gel tape on the bottom of the Boss pedal. It sticks so well. I'm replacing it with this. This is my Dean Monkey Overlord. Now, I'm probably going to lose points for this. This pedal cost me, I think, £80. You can still get them for £90, £95. I have modded this so that it doesn't have the mains jack anymore. It's got a 12-volt DC input. Actually, Dan Coggins from Thorpy and Dinosaurial made that change for me. But I need this as a valve overdrive so that it warms up the front end of the transistor amp that I'm going into. So I haven't tried this yet. In my head, this works, but we shall see. We've got this cable here. So we should be going out of that into here. Just make sure this all fits. Oh, that's nice. Great. Now, this is the interesting connection. Mono to TRS. The T and the R, tip and the ring, they're both connected to this mono tip. So this should send the signal to the TR input on the rack. My two foot switches here. That's going to connect to the remote switch here. Now, I think what I'm going to do, because both of the amps have reverb, I'm going to set one side up for modulation, like a chorus. This should do a nice chorus, and the other side up for delay. And I think I'm going to do like a ping pong delay, see if I can get that working. That should be really fun. So I get these two stuck down, try and dial in a couple of sounds and see how we go. Okay, this is the moment of truth. Let's plug you in. There you go. So the Overlord is powered and working. Bad Monkey, we'll know when we get that pushed in. Right, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use this TRS cable to plug into the little amp that I've got here. So just from the mono out. Theoretically, in my head, this should work. So TRS output going to, so it's just a TRS cable. Both the signals should be on this one, but the only one I'm interested in is the tip, and then the sleeve or the shield will be the earth. So if I go mono out from there, okay, I've got a little cable here. I'm also going to be using a different guitar. So I don't know what's going on here. These are both bypassed. Okay, I have used every permutation of TRS to TS that I can think of, and it has made zero difference to the noise. Half the time it doesn't work. The cables all work, all tested. So it is something fundamentally wrong with this unit. It's just noisy. But what I have found is the noise doesn't change depending on how much you use the input. It needs a low impedance input for sure. So the guitar signal is actually going into here first and then into the bad monkey, and that is a low impedance output from that. But fundamentally, by keeping the input level up really high, I get enough signal through to the amplifiers, and so it's okay. This sounds amazing, but I'm not sure, because who knows what Mick's done. I've got a suspicion that he's gone the whole hog and done something extraordinary. I'm putting all of my faith in this and having the second amplifier. We shall see. Fingers crossed.
Monday morning after the Friday show. Thank you so much for all your comments. It's been really, really fascinating to get in there and see what you think, and some suggestions for improvements. So everything is fine, except some things aren't fine. I've written down the things that just came out of my brain after the show. Got to fix the Rubberneck. The amp switcher is a problem, the amp's foot switch. Do I need a power supply? Do I need a tuner? What about another overdrive pedal? Do I need to replace the patch cables? And the humbucker with the microphonic noise and the phase in the PRS SE. Mission critical is we cannot go on without this. Therefore, that is thing number one to fix. Let's see if we can diagnose this Rubberneck. But first of all, I'm going to tell you a story. I contacted Seller, a really nice guy named Finn, and I said, okay, I don't know if this Rubberneck is more noisy than normal or about right. Your comments span the full gamut. A lot of you said it's just noisy, that's the way it is, live with it, and a great many more people said no, that is completely not right. It's broken. So I said, my opening gambit to Finn was, look, would you take it back? And he said, well, could you describe the problem? And we had a very convivial conversation. Said, well, I tell you what, I'll offer you 50 quid towards a repair if it needs one. And I thought, do you know what? I'll investigate that. What would you do if you had a pedal that wasn't functioning properly? The first thing you would do is check the power. And a lot of you suggested that in the comments. And of course, that was the first thing I tried when I first got it out of the box. And I did check a bunch of different supplies, but there is one further thing to check on this. It has a send and return loop. I've had amplifiers before where the send and return loop, either something is oxidized in the terminals, you know, the in and out jacks, or there's been some other problem where the amp won't function at all unless something's plugged into the loop. Something in there is horrifically noisy. Okay. Okie dokie, I don't have much idea about electronics, as you know, but it's getting serious now. It's a bit disappointing, really. You know, on the one hand, that is an incredible, amazing bit of modern technology. But the solder points and everything is so tiny. There's no way I could do anything like that. Somebody more skilled could. And look at this, man. Surface mount switch that sits under that switch. All right, it's screwed to the chassis, so the chassis is taking most of the hit, but even so, plastic. I don't mean to single dot out in this, because, you know, they're all desperate to build pedals that hit a price point, aren't they? But there's no trim pots or anything. I was wondering if I might find a trim pot or two in there, but I can't find anything that's gonna. So yeah, I don't know. I have literally no idea. I will, as I put it back together, I'll clean all the pots and switches, and we'll see if that does anything. But I've got a horrible feeling this is headed for a shelf somewhere and/or landfill. Put it back together, tested it, and I'm sorry to say that is the end of the Rubberneck's journey with me. I will graciously accept Finn's £50 towards the cost of the repair. So I'm £100 down and I've got no delay pedal. Arse. And welcome to the Rubberneck News with me, Tick Maylor. Yeah. What a saga. I'll tell you what I did. I abused my position and I phoned Thorpy. So I said, do you do repairs? And he said, we do, but we tend not to be so enthusiastic about modern surface mount stuff because it's such a pain to work on. Moreover, what happens is when you get into a couple of hours diagnostics, fault finding and all of that, it turns out to be an uneconomic repair because it's actually cheaper just to get a new board. He said, anyway, because we're mates and all that, why don't you send me some pics and I'll have a look at it. So I sent him some pics of the stuff that you've seen on the video just previously. And he's like, that's weird. No trimmers. Normally when you'd have BBDs, you would have trimmers in there to, I think, adjust things like gain and bias so that they're operating. And it's one way in which that you keep the noise low. Anyway, he was confused that they weren't in there, had another look at the circuit and thought, oh yeah, he understood what was going on there. Economically, in the real world, if you were a punter and you were going to a professional repair person to have this done, it would be uneconomic, probably. So I thought, okay, that's the end of me in the Rubberneck. I'm going to cut my losses. As interesting as that additional content might have been, can't end. So what I did was I listed it on Reverb for like 53 quid or something. I wanted to net 50 quid. I was very clear in the description, put the link to the show in saying, you know, this pedal is probably for repair or, you know, use it if you like a noisy pedal. And just to recoup something from it. And a very nice guy named Paul Mellon bought it. Thank you so much, Paul. As he completed the purchase, I emailed him and said, are you sure you've read the description? Because I don't want you to be thinking you're buying a fully functioning pedal here. Anyway, he was very good about it and said that he knew someone that, and they might look at it together and get it repaired. So goodbye, Rubberneck. Bah. That means I'm about 50 quid down in total. I graciously accepted Finn's £50 goodwill gesture from the original purchase and I got 50 quid back from Paul, so thereabouts I'm about 50 quid down. And then something else happened. The dear old Joyo Chorus, thought it was great. It was just perfect for the Purple Rain sound and a few other things. In gnawing away in the back of my mind, it wasn't going quite fast enough with the speed up max for the faux rotary thing. And actually it was buffering a bit, so it was adding, I don't mean internet buffering, I mean it was adding quite a lot of high end to the signal, which could be a good thing, could be not such a good thing, depending on what you want. Anyway, cut to a parallel universe. A friend of the family, their daughter's just getting into playing guitar, been playing 3 months, completely hook, line and sinker into it, and had asked for some advice on pedals. Catherine being Catherine said, don't worry about that, just come in, right? And so in she came, 13, playing 3 months, and I asked her, you know, what do you know? What have you learned? And one of the things she'd learned was Come As You Are by Nirvana, and I was like, I know what you need. Plugged her into a few pedals, and as she was playing the Come As You Are riff, just like, up goes the smile. And it was similar to that we get on experience days, actually, when people are like hooked into a sound. I'm like, okay, there is only one course of action here, so asked the mum, would it be appropriate to gift the pedal? And the mum said, yeah, that's good. So she is now the proud new owner of the Joyo Chorus, which is good for the universe, but it does mean I'm 20 quid down again. So I'm 70 quid down and I've got one pedal. It was a no-brainer. Because this part of the challenge, we can use anything, doesn't have to be secondhand, and it doesn't have to be stuff that we don't already own. Apart from the Jam Waterfall, that's pretty much my favourite chorus pedal. So £69, brand new on Anderton's. Let's see how that fits into the rig. I am sad about the Rubberneck. I've told the story. It is what it is. We move on. And not to be defeated, I've decided to double down on the idiotic delay choice and go big or go home. And I did the thing that you should never do, like went home, had a couple of ciders, couple of glasses of wine, started looking at pedals on Reverb, and something quite interesting has occurred. Oh dear. Check it out. Anyone watching this is going to be gasping in exasperation right now, going, what the hell are you doing? It's massive. It has an idiotic power supply. And to boot, they're really rare. I got it for an incredible price, which I'll share on screen. Just over £200, which causes me all kinds of other problems. We'll deal with that in a minute. But to decide whether I'm going to use it or whether I'm going to sell it quick to recoup my money, I have read online that the Hughes & Kettner Tube Replex tape delay, digital simulation with a beautiful analog preamp in it, might not be analog drive-through, which I don't believe, because I know Thomas Blug, and I don't believe someone like Thomas wouldn't put analog drive-through in a pedal like this, so let's test it. Dan and I have spoken many times about why analog drive-through is so important. In this rig, okay, we're only using 1 amp, so it doesn't really matter, but as I said, in all of these pedals that I'm buying, I want to be able to use them in my full rig. So I know that it's not flipping phase and it is analog drive-through because there's no latency change. I have recorded this and listened to it back just to show. If it was flipping phase, it would do something more akin to this. Honestly, I have played it before I started making this video. It sounds unbelievable and I really, really want to make it work. Let's see if we can. We know I'm committed to the Hughes & Kettner delay, the massive delay, and I've chosen the TC Chorus. So now, obviously we've got a real estate problem because the existing board obviously just isn't big enough to get all that on. So I've had an idea. Oh yeah, that's the story I'll tell you in a minute. Old bit of plywood in the shed, and if it's good enough for Eric Johnson, it's good enough for me. What I thought was, I might be able to cut this out a bit, mount the existing board on there, but put a hinge underneath here. So that folds up, creating this sort of two-tier thing. Because I'm thinking about practicality, right? I want to be able to access all those switches safely. So the fact that that's there protects these knobs completely. These ones, similar story. If that works, I think that would be quite good. Just to prove I am actually doing this, sawing wood. I'm not going to try and film myself sawing. Catherine helped me last time, but she's not around, so I am doing it. Well, kids, I have to say this has turned out considerably better than I thought it might. Rosie, what do you think? Look at this. I've made a 2-tier pedal board. I put these hinges around the back. Check that out. I put an extra piece of wood underneath, and so that it can, so the screws have got something to go into. I've even put these little magnets there, look, and there, so that when it comes down, it will hold into place. I know that my power supply is going to fit underneath here. And altogether, I'm pretty happy with that. That's better than I thought it could be. Look, hinged and everything. Magnets. Look at the hinges, door hinges. I'm really pleased. I'm really pleased. Catherine said it has to be called the shit array. Sorry, Martin. It is called the shit array. I've Velcroed the base of the shit array and put all the pedals on. The Zeus, which I haven't told you about yet, it was a sort of impulse purchase. I wanted another overdrive pedal, 29 quid. I mean, how they do it for 29 quid, I don't know, but anyway. I think I've probably busted my budget at this point, and we'll explore that in a bit. Anyway, what I want to talk about now is power supply, because underneath here, Velcro, as you can see, and let's get serious for a minute. I'm at the point where I have to have a power supply, right? A couple of my pedals won't run on batteries, I don't think. And it becomes impractical if you have to replace, you know, more than 2 batteries regularly. That's not good value for money. So power supply. Now, as I said, slightly serious comment. I bought this. the Harley Benton Power Plant ISO 1AC Pro, right? The reason I bought it is because it has 500 milliamp outputs isolated apparently, which means that I can run some fairly serious current on that. But in addition to that, it's got an AC outlet. So I might be able to run the Hughes and Kettner delay, but also if in the future, if you want to make the power supply bigger, you could run another power supply off it. Now, this is the kind of thing that we have to feel a bit for our good friend Daniel. He makes this stuff, right? But he makes it in a small company. If you have a multi-billion-dollar company, such as Thomann, and you can, or at least a billion-dollar company, and you have huge influence in Far Eastern manufacturing, you have a massive infrastructure, and you just have all the giant economies of scale of a business of that size, this is what you can do for 55 quid. I mean, how anyone makes anything out of metal, ships it halfway across the world, I've already put Velcro on it, and sells it for 51 quid is truly beyond me, but £55, sorry. And that is what you're dealing with. You know, as the serious comment, if British and American manufacturing thinks it can do this stuff competitively, well, it just can't. Economic realities mean that's what it's got to be. So it's under there. I'll wire it all up and see if it works. Sorry for the seriousness, but, you know, it's pretty close to home. I've used some patch cables that I just have to hand to test it with. The actual patch cables that I use will be a different story. And I guess we've got one moment of truth, and the moment of truth is quite hard to do with one hand. My 3 power supply pedals are all working. The Replex runs off a separate mains wall wart, and that doesn't need any power because it's the amp foot switch. So that was the moment of truth. The moment of reckoning. Does Dan have it in him to forgive me for buying that power supply? I'd feel genuinely bad about it. Another day, another problem. Let's try and solve this microphonic humbucker problem then. I'm actually going to experiment on the neck pickup, and if it works I'll just put that in there. Thanks to John at Throwback Pickups, who put up an excellent tutorial on how to do this. We're going to remove the cover, flip the magnet round, maybe put the cover back on. What? I'll do it quickly. So let's reiterate, I've never done this before. First job is to melt the solder. And you need to be really careful because obviously there's wires you can damage down there. And slot this in down the side to break the solder joint. Okay, stage 2, take this out of there. And apparently if it's really heavily wax potted, that won't come out of there very easily, but you can see that there's very minimal and no wax at all here, so that's easy enough. Undo these little screws here and just let the magnet come out. The magnet's there, I don't know if you can see it. We'll have a better look at it in a minute. Oh, mummy, really? So what we've got to be really careful not to do is damage these wires that are in here. So I'm not going to peel the tape back any further than that. If I get some needle nose on here, that magnet may just come out. Right. Will it come out? Yeah, okay, so got to remember that's the orientation, so we'll just carefully remove that. And it's marked north. I'm going to say that's the north side. So in order to flip the magnet, that's what you do. You just turn it over and you gently put it back in. Oh God, really? Being careful not to put it all the way to the end to damage those wires. So we'll just put it back in, magnets back in, retighten these screws. Carefully reapply the tape. And then the next thing we want to do is put the cover back on, which is just a reversal of what we've just done. One of the things that causes microphonics is if the cover is if there's anything vibrating in there. So I'm tempted to leave the cover off, but I really like the aesthetic of with it on. So I'm going to do a trick that John from Throwback suggested, and that is to apply a little bit of silicone on the slug coil side, and that will apparently form a bond to the top to really limit the effect of that vibration. So, well, here goes nothing, I guess. Well, I don't know. I just don't know. But anyway, we'll do it and see what happens. Push that down. Yeah, we'll see if that works or not. Resolder the joints. Bob's your auntie's living lover. 7.5, 7.6K. I hope you can see that. It's, yeah, anyway, looks like it's working. And the very last piece of the puzzle, I've blown the budget a bit, so I thought I would go all in and really blow the budget. And I bought some cheapo, they're copies of square plugs, available from Jeff's Bazaar, obviously. About $4.99, I think, for 4 plugs, and the equivalent short stubby ones as well. So I'm going to make my own cables. So there's another 10 quid on jack plugs, and some cable I just found that I've had for years. So maybe I'll include a nominal amount of that. So seeing as we've burst the budget, I prefer the soldering method over solderless because it's cheaper. Yeah, there we are. Budget well and truly bust, but at least I've made my own patch cables. There we are then. By some considerable effort, it is finished and powered and cabled. What else did I do? I put a hole in the top there so cables could run down through to the bottom layer. What is quite cool is because of the magnets on the bottom and the hinges on the back, cables can actually run underneath front to back, so that works really well. I did experiment with sighting the power supply just in case it did cause any noise with the tube in the delay pedal up top, but it doesn't seem to, so that's great. What else do I have to admit for the court? Oh, my cheap jack plugs. These ones and these ones are just awful. So maybe there's a jack plug or two from somewhere else. We'll just forget about that. Up the top, for example, in the spirit of true honesty, that's a square plugs one. The difference in manufacturing quality is astounding. Anyway, there we are. It is finished. Oh, finally, I did put some little rubber feet things on the bottom. I don't know if you can see that. They were about, I don't know, 69p from Wilkinson or equivalent. It's done. Well, that was jolly interesting.
Amazing.
I haven't seen Dan's vlog yet and he hasn't seen mine, so we'll try not to repeat too much of it in the show, but some extra explanation might be required. I can see another box.
Yes.
So you've added an amplifier.
I have.
What have you added?
You ready? Okay. Explanation is required. This is an old Roland Cube from the 90s. Now, when I was in my band in the 90s in Australia, my keyboard player had one of these, and I used to use it at rehearsal sometimes.
Okay.
And I loved it, and I've been looking for one for ages, and I found it down this strange little shop in Cirencester.
That shop?
That shop.
Yeah, yeah.
It was in there. I got it for 160 quid.
Wow.
Right? But when we talk about having 2 amplifiers and we say that you can use anything, this is a good example of that, because obviously I've got the AC15. It didn't have enough girth and thwump.
Yeah. Yeah, you were struggling for
really
any sort
struggling.
try not to repeat everything we've said in the previous video, but while it's in dB's terms enough to be heard in a band, there's just not enough clean headroom.
No.
So there was no clean sound really available.
No. And it's an interesting amp because it's a keyboard amp. Keyboard. But loads of guitar players use them, especially jazz guitar players.
Yeah.
Used to use these.
Yeah.
And in fact, there was a little silver strip glued across the word keyboard. And I thought, hang on, I just want to double check, and it was the keyboard amp. But anyway, so I've got that paired up.
Great.
With this amp, just to give it a little bit more
and
heft.
That amp was made long before digital modelling amps were commonly available. So it's just a straight solid state
transistor amp with a really nice spring reverb.
An actual spring reverb?
Actual spring reverb.
Get in.
Yep, it's fantastic.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
And is it fully functioning, do you think?
Fully functioning.
Humming?
You've got to spend a little bit of time twisting the knobs to make it, but it's great.
Awesome. All right. I haven't made any changes in the amplifier
You don't
department,
need to.
as you've seen.
Yep.
So we'll mic up in a minute. Right, board, any changes on the board?
Yes. Reveal. Okay, so...
This, to be fair, by complete fluke, my board fits in this bag.
Okay.
So I haven't bought that bag.
Fair enough.
It's just to hide it.
Yep. I thought the turbo distortion into the AC15 sounded horrific.
Right.
So what I've done is, after I spent 160 on the amp, I had 90 quid left. Originally, I bought the Overlord for 80 quid. You can still get them for between 90 and 100 quid.
Yes.
All right. Now, I've taken the turbo distortion off and can sell that. Haven't sold it yet, but can sell it.
Okay.
Right. So I'm after a little bit of leeway here, but I was really keen.
Have you bust the budget then?
Yeah.
I have too.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know.
For the same reason.
Right.
Ish.
I needed some valves going with a solid state thing over there.
Yeah.
I needed a little bit of valve. Now, the Bad Monkey is there primarily to lift the signal. So
okay, we'll get into that.
In a minute. Yeah, but the Overlord is there to give me some valve compression going into that.
And you've kept your rack unit effects
pedal
board.
I couldn't get rid of it because there's nothing in the budget that I could find that would do that job. I have, however, replaced the stupid keyboard things with just two little momentary things going to the foot switches. So basically you've got two sounds. I've got
or up and down.
I've got a chorus and a delay.
Yeah.
With the reverbs from the amplifier and the two gain stages that stack together, so I've got clean.
Oh, sorry, no, I meant from the rack unit.
Oh, sorry.
You could explain that in a minute.
Yeah. So the rack unit, I've basically got, two sounds.
Right, get ready for this then.
Oh, stop it. Hang on.
I found one of these. That's the Tube Tape Echo version of it. Yeah, it's digital delay, but a Tube preamp. So it's pretty close to an Echoplex, tonally, I think.
And what did you pay for that?
£208.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But get ready.
Oh, boy.
Remember the old pedal board?
Oh dear. Okay.
Right, you are. I've made an apology to you in my vlog, Dan, because you are going to hate what's about to happen next.
Okay.
I explain in the vlog. I explain.
Okay.
I beg for your forgiveness.
That's fine.
Okay, but look, hinged and magnets.
Oh goodness. Okay. That's amazing. It's
pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's amazing.
It's pretty good.
Wow, so you've totally... What have you kept on? You've kept on the Boost Overdrive?
Yeah, so in the vlog it explains it. I've kept this.
Yeah.
There's a story about this.
Yes.
Because I gave the other one away.
Okay.
And this is new at 29 quid.
Wow.
So the vlog tells the story, but I'm £50 down on the Rubberneck. Mm-hmm. I'm £20 down on the chorus that I gave away.
Okay.
And including that, I'm 530 quid. So if you take away 70, that's what it would be.
Okay.
So I bust the budget at the end, which is explained in the vlog. Anyway, enough yabba. Let's hear some sound, shall we?
Okay. Some guitar adjustments have been had.
I see. So gone is the Purple Squire Tele.
Yeah.
And in comes the Johnny Marr Jag.
In comes the Johnny Marr Jag. So I've been using this guitar quite a lot lately. It does fit the brief in that this is not a crazy expensive guitar.
Yeah, qualification on that. Some people might think it is very expensive, but it's certainly nowhere near custom shop or boutique money.
No,
nowhere near.
It fits with what we're doing.
Yeah, I think so.
I've been playing this guitar a lot lately, and I love it. And for what we're doing, I could very happily take this and this rig to a gig. I'd struggle with the Purple Tele.
Yeah,
it was. It's cool, but it's not. This has got. It's got a wanger on it.
Yeah, it's not as grown up, is it?
Yeah.
And
this is a proper.
It's been nice to see Dan playing his guitar more recently. You really bond with it.
Yeah,
and it's a cool
I love
thing.
it.
I have made a change to the guitar in that. Remember, this was microphonic
and out
of phase.
Mm-hmm.
The vlog tells the story, but I deconstructed one of the pickups. I say deconstructed, pulled the magnet out and put it back in the other way, wired it all back up again, put a little bit of silicon between the top of the slug coil and the plate, which Mr. Throwback said to do, and it has vastly improved the microphonics, as you'll hear.
So it's the same pickup, you've just tweaked it.
It's actually the neck pickup. And actually I put it in and it sounds great and it works great. It's just a bit less. For those of you who don't know, Gibson PAF style pickups are exactly the same, bridge and neck, just one tends to be a little hotter than the other.
Right.
So it came out of the neck position of my 335, so it is truly the Eddie Van Halen story now.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Yeah, so it's worked great. Right, the way we're going to format the rest of this video, so there's not too much talking, is to demonstrate 4 things that we think is important and that has changed, just to give an idea of the rigs.
Dig it.
Do you want to start? Do you want me to start?
You start.
Okay.
Dying to hear this.
All right. Let's start with... In the previous show, in the 250 pound pedalboard challenge, I only had the custom audio electronics. Mm-hmm. And the overdrive was a bit so-so, to be honest. Sure. And I've been working with this for a while now.
Okay.
And I cannot get a good overdrive sound out of it.
Right.
So what I have discovered is set like this, it does a reasonable fuzz.
Oh, cool.
But the boost is majestic.
Okay.
And in terms of signal order, I'll explain this about the chorus in a minute, but I found that the chorus works better in between the 2 overdrives.
Nice.
And I've turned the buffer off in the Zeus.
Okay.
Because that was making it all a bit hazy.
Sure.
So you have a selectable buffer in the Zeus, which is broadly a clon style thing, but with added fatness. Anyway, right. I'll give you a quick demonstration of that. So I will talk about the amp channels in a minute in terms of what that enables me to do. But what it means is I've got loud, clean, quiet, clean, loud, dirty, quiet, dirty,
nice.
and everything in between.
Fantastic.
Lovely.
Fantastic.
Really nice. As I said, I couldn't get a workable overdrive sound out of this, stacking it in any way. Mm-hmm. So actually it does a fairly reasonable fuzz set just maxed out like that on the gain. It's not an overdrive sound that anyone's going to love, but it actually does work quite well as a fuzz.
And the frequency in it, that's not going to get lost.
Yeah.
That's really nice. It's not a big farty bottom end fuzz.
Yeah.
It's got quite the nose on it, which is really cool.
It's great. So that's sort of neck pickup-y stuff.
Yeah, fluty.
Cream type stuff.
Yeah.
And even, borderline Hendrix fuzz. It just about does that job.
Okay.
The Boost you heard just on its own.
Yep.
And then the Zeus I've got, as you can see, I've got the gain maxed out on here as well.
Yes.
So this is sort of clonny, sort of tube screamery, but with a bit more treble.
Yes.
Very 1K. If you stick the Boost into the front of that, it just fattens it up really nice.
Okay.
Now, at the moment, right, I'll explain about the amp channels in a moment. I'm a bit louder in channel 1 than I would otherwise be.
Right.
Because we've got channel 2 to do that. So I'll turn that down in a minute when we get onto the next thing. But the idea is I'm going to use channel 1 lower so that when I boost in, I've got a low volume overdrive sound. Because this gets a bit wild when you put the Boost into it. But
okay.
Anyway, right on the edge of the
Non-squid.
microphonics.
Yeah, right.
The previous one didn't come anywhere near that.
It does work surprisingly well in that guitar.
Yeah, and the actual position two's quite nice.
Do we have a HSS guitar apart from that one?
We do now.
Amazing. Okay.
Yeah. So that's my thing 1. I've got fuzz, I've got Boost, I've got overdrive, and then with the combination of the guitar volume, I can get cover a lot of ground.
Okay. Okay. Right, so my thing 1 is the second amp.
Yep.
Right, so.
I'm fascinated to hear this.
Right.
I just want to make sure that mic is in the right position, which I didn't do.
Okay, so here's the AC15 by itself. So that's just the amp. Turn that on, it gets rid of some noise. But, so that's just the amp, the AC15 by itself. Now if I turn on the Roland,
great. That's adding tons of more body.
I'm just going to mute that because for a second, only because my thing 2 gets rid of a lot of that.
Okay.
But just by adding that second amplifier,
Yeah.
it just gives me a bit more of that stuff that I need. I would have struggled to have done a gig with the AC15 the way it's just, you know.
So I got 2 questions. One, how are you splitting the signal?
So at the moment, the signal's just left and right. Right. The Lexicon, it promised so much.
Yeah.
And one of the issues with it, and people were saying, oh, you idiot, it's TRS balanced, you need TRS cables. I tried all the TRS options, it made 0 difference.
Right.
However, what it needs is a line level input signal,
Right.
right? So if you see hitting the guitar at the moment, it's barely registering.
Yeah.
So what I'm using the Bad Monkey to do, and I'll go straight into my thing 2 now, because that's
Okay.
the Bad Monkey. I'm actually using that to create the level that I need to hit the processor properly.
Right.
Right.
So, okay. So my second question was, the amps you were lucky that the amps are in phase.
Yeah.
Have you checked it?
They sound in phase.
They kind of do. I'm interested to hear. I'm interested to hear the audio. We'll confirm or deny at this point now.
So the Bad Monkey is there to lift the signal. So
All right.
if I turn them both back on. So that sound before is just the guitar. And that's respectable. But with the Bad Monkey kicked in.
It's got way more than it had before. Like, it's got so much more grunt.
Yep.
And I love the way you've just chosen an old transistor amp to
Yep.
make that point that we've made many times. The second amp can almost be anything as long as you don't create a latency problem. And the extra weight is really significant.
All of the tone, I would say, is coming from the AC15.
Yeah.
What the Cube is doing is just adding a bit more depth to it, which it really needs at any
Yeah.
volume level.
I think it's adding some transient too.
Yeah,
So
sure.
one thing you lose in a lower power amplifier is you lose that quickness of the front of the note.
Yeah,
And particularly with EL84 amps, I think the transistor amp has given you some of that back.
sure. So the Bad Monkey is just, you see the gain is down really low, and you know, look, to be fair, I've got the preamp of the Vox turned up quite a bit, so that it's obviously not totally clean.
Yeah. And
But-
how loud is the Cube?
The Cube's turned up.
Yeah. So you're there or thereabouts, aren't
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
There's not a huge amount more.
No, but that's a volume that I'd happily gig at.
Yeah, there's plenty of people that play way quieter than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and that was just the Bad Monkey and the 2 amps. I haven't gone to the other things yet. But my thing too was the Bad Monkey is used to hit the front of this
Yeah.
to give it the amount of signal that this needs to operate properly. But also, it's the Overlord. So the signal chain is actually guitar goes into the Overlord, then into the Bad Monkey.
Right.
Right? If I turn the Bad Monkey off, pulls the Overlord back, turn the Bad Monkey on, the Overlord going into the Bad Monkey acts as a limiter.
Okay.
So because I've got the transistor amp, it can get a little bit spiky the Overlord.
We'll hear that in a minute.
But with it going into the bad monkey, it kind of works. But with that off, the spikiness is okay when the volume drops. So I've got,
Yeah,
you know,
you've got
like
some
you know,
dynamic.
if she's singing,
Yeah.
but I still want a heavier tone.
Yeah.
That works.
Okay. We'll explore that a bit in a minute then.
I've done two. You do one.
Yeah. Okay, I want to show you this delay pedal then.
I'm looking forward to this.
Can we get rid of some of
Yes,
your
yeah,
extraneous noise?
Yes.
You've got a digital processor,
Yes.
but a tube preamp, obviously done by Thomas Blug and
Okay.
Bernd Schneider, I guess. Now there's some weird things about it. No tap tempo, which is crap, but it's
No
really
option.
old.
There's no tap tempo input or anything for
Nothing.
it. Okay,
no,
right.
no. Single head delay and a dual head delay.
Nice.
Now, I've read the manual and I've done everything. I cannot make the single head delay control anything when the dual head delay is on. So it's like a fixed ratio, I think.
Okay.
Further, you can't, there's also reverb. You can't have the reverb and the delay on at the same time. But one really cool thing about it, just before we get into anything, is it has a drive and output master volume.
Right.
So you've also got another master volume for your whole rig, which is really, really useful, right?
Fantastic.
So pretty sweet, isn't it?
That's beautiful.
There's a bit of a coming from somewhere, and I've checked it all out, and I think it's coming from the amp.
Okay.
So this isn't overdriving a huge amount. And of course, that's your longer delays. And somewhere in there, I'd find my 335, 345 do-it-all delay. And what I want to say about this is the kind of delay that I turn on and leave on.
Right.
In that sort of... So tapping for specific things, it is lacking in that functionality.
Sure.
But in the way that you would run an old tube, an old tape echo, this fulfills that function. It will do, like if we turn the time down. So you can do your slaps.
Is the valve preamp, is that only on the effect side, or is it actually the whole thing's going through the valve?
True bypass.
Okay.
Until it's turned on.
And when it's turned on, but you're using the valve on the effect and the main preamp?
I think the valve is there as the preamp. I don't know what it's doing to the effect sound.
Okay.
It sounds lovely. So it is true bypass, right?
Right.
And you can turn this up, the drive control,
Okay.
if you want, but I don't know if you really want to do that. So in the same way that an Echoplex or a tape echo puts all that preamp sound into the amp, you can use it for that too. It's very nice. Okay, it's very nice. It has a separate reverb setting, which is kind of bizarre. I mean, it sounds cool, but I'll just turn the reverb in the amp off a minute.
That's lovely. But you can't have the reverb and the delay on the same time.
No.
Okay.
And then the dual head delay is, yeah, supposedly when you're in dual head, the single head time still has an effect, but it doesn't. So I'm not quite sure what's happening here. But
Okay.
anyway, here's the single head delay.
That's a groovy thing.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And
It's a very groovy
I just-
thing.
So, the idiotic delay story on my side of the challenge gets even stupider. The bloody last thing was dumb enough. This is especially dumb. But it just sounds great.
Yeah.
Like the basic tone of it. And in practical terms, so you can go from a slap to that sort of always on. And I think the dual head I would always use in that. Like trying to find any sort of, oh, is it a dotted eighth and a
Yeah,
quarter?
no. That's,
There must be a way you can, but. what I was hoping was that it was going to be a dotted eighth and a quarter.
Yeah.
And it might be that it could mess around with that a bit more.
Is it stereo?
No.
Okay.
It's, as a modern delay pedal, it's extremely flawed. But it sounds great.
It sounds wonderful.
And that, you know...
We've both added tubes into our pedalboard. That's quite cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was my thing 2 then.
Okay. So my thing 3 is going to be the Overlord. So the way I'm using the Overlord in conjunction with the Bad Monkey, let's get some sonics happening. If I turn the Overlord on. So is that the speaker?
Sounds like it might be. Do you want to...
Just managed to blow the speaker in the in the cube.
So thankfully, someone in the venue had a 1x12 cab. We've put underneath, and it does have an extension speaker output. So the top speaker might still be working, but we'll try and avoid that.
Yeah, very handy. Okay, so anyway, here's the Overlord. And this is the Overlord into the Bad Monkey. So there's a range of gain sounds there, apart from the speaker dying.
I think you had a workable clean sound, and the heavy gain sound was nice.
Yeah.
There was a lot of gain, like if you were doing a shoegaze set.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I dig it. So, I mean, the Bad Monkey pushing into those amps, I think that's what may have killed that speaker, but I'm going to replace the speaker because I think it sounds really cool. Yeah, no, I dig it. I think I love a valve overdrive pedal that sounds really nice into a transistor amplifier. I think it can sound fantastic.
It's got a lovely kind of squishy, rocky, great character to it.
The thing about the Overlord is this was the Dean Markley. I don't know if they licensed it or they just said, "Hey, I like that." But this is basically their version of the Tube Overdrive.
Yeah, Tube Driver.
The Tube Driver.
Yeah.
And it's a cool thing.
Nice. It is.
Yeah.
It does. It sounds fat and thick and rocky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right, I'll do my things 3 and 4 together because we got a bit sidetracked there. The stereo chorus I've got on there, the SCF. This was the reissue one they did, and they called it Gold, and it's new 69 quid.
Amazing.
It's great. I like it for a bunch of quite specific reasons. One is, if you set it low like this, you sort of get that almost dimension kind of sound.
Okay.
Not exactly, but kind of, you know?
Yep.
So there was a moment right at the beginning there where you're like, is it on?
Right.
And then as soon as you start to hear some of the notes chorus against one another,
Sure.
it's there. And I like that. After the boost for you know.
That's nice.
For that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's great.
If you then give it a bit more width and intensity, it starts to sound more like the chorus we kind of know. So quite chorusy. Some of it's really vibrating in there in a weird way.
That amp, man, is such a killer.
And then, not that I ever use a flanger really, but if you put it in a flanger mode, it starts to sound more like a flanger. And before overdrive, right? Neatly sidestepping that. And then finally, the thing I like about it is if you do all this, put all of that all the way up there, it does a fairly decent.
That's killer.
So it's, yes, you do have to bend down and
fiddle
with your knob.
Yep.
But everything from subtle chorus, bit of flange, through to pseudo rotary, it does it quite nicely. It's all analog, so it does overdrive a bit.
Yeah.
And it's nice. The reason I've got it before the Zeus was because after the Zeus it was kind of taking over everything, and it's just nice to have it a bit before and after. And yeah, that's it about that. The last thing I just want to mention is at the moment everything's really loud, right?
Yep.
So problem I had in the last video, the foot switch was causing a problem in the ML Deville. A noise was happening. I read the manual, RTFM. It's actually a TS cable, just a regular jack to do two functions, and I assumed it was a TRS.
Yeah.
So I plugged a TRS in, and that was causing the noise. So it's been plugged in for the whole video. It's not causing any noise.
It's great.
Happy days. So what, at the moment, you've been hearing channel 1. What I would do is turn channel 1 down. To be my sort of low volume sound. Sorry, it was just below its minimum operating level. possibly not the nicest overdrive sound in the world, but low volume.
Yep.
So you've got all those higher gain sounds to sit beneath the vocal, and then that's when you can use volume 2, the other channel in the amp, to make it louder, right? So so that was my thing 4. I've
That's
got
beautiful.
and that works for clean too.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's got stupid loud at the end there. That amp, and the
Magic.
volume 2 channel is on 2.
That's amazing.
It is an insanely loud amp.
Yep.
And I like that because
Well, it gives you everything you need.
if we just want the cleans,
Yeah. Magic.
those are my 4 things.
Yeah, magic. Okay, so the last thing for me, I'm going to turn the Vox down to match that a little bit. So my thing for having to repair the 2 foot switches, I now have stereo delay.
That Overlord sounds magic.
It's unreal.
That is magic.
It's going back on my board.
I wish I'd put all my flipping budget into my overdrive pedals.
Well, and so if I boost the Overlord with the bad monkey and I just EQ it right. So, got the delay on there, but now I've also... So now I also have...
Eventually.
Eventually.
So if you want to change any sounds on the Lexicon,
Yep.
you basically just need to select them off the top panel, and then you've got on and off.
I can work up sounds, store them, and then I can just go to a different preset here
Okay.
and select it,
Yeah.
and then it's there.
And if you get on your hands and knees, you can see it.
Yeah, yeah. Right. So look, obviously, it's noisy. I've blown up a speaker. However,
It's moderately impractical.
yeah,
I mean, I was thinking one thing you could do with that is instead of having it on the floor, you could have it on a little table and just make the changes with your hands.
you could do. I mean, the idea with these foot switches is I can turn those off. I can set the effects that I want
Yeah.
and turn them on and off. And if there's a song that I need a specific thing for, I can program it in, turn it on, and then have that ready to go.
But those knobs are going to get booted off, aren't they?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's impractical, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
That was 90 quid. I couldn't get rid of that and find something else.
I think as with everything, a bit more tweaking and a bit more living with
Yeah.
would get you into a much better place. I have to say that Overlord is the savior of that whole rig for me.
Completely.
It just sounds spectacular.
Now, I would say, obviously, blowing the speaker in the Cube 60. However, you can hear how that added
Yeah, it did.
to the Vox.
Yeah, it
right?
made it very giggable, I would say.
For 160 quid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I couldn't find an AC30, for example, for what you paid for.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to get that for that rig. So I just needed some embellishment. So I think that was, that was cool.
I think it's a sort of nice place to conclude in a way, and we hope, Auntie, that you're happy with our choices. For me, it's like spend the money on an amp that's loud enough.
Yeah.
And a guitar that you enjoy playing.
Yep.
That is absolutely, do that first.
Yep.
And then if you want to add your silly pedals, like
On your silly pedals, so
do so sparingly, because to try and do everything on a small budget, now you can get into the whole, £20 this and £30 that, which we're sort of broadly not done, although that is one of them.
Yeah. Well, that was Bad Monkey's 40 quid, And it's all right.
And you can do it that way, but I'm such a fan of going, actually get the guitar and amp right, and then add good stuff as and when you can afford it, rather than trying to do everything straight off the bat.
Yep.
I mean, I would happily, I've got a gig next Sunday night, I would take this rig and use it.
Yeah, it sounds
I
great.
would absolutely, I might replace one of the overdrive pedals, but this would do everything I need it to do. And I think some of these sounds here with the Replex and the amp absolutely stand up to my Two Rock and Posh stuff.
That amp is spectacular.
For really sensible money.
Yep.
So.
Yep. I mean, obviously, you win. Tonally, the Hughes and Kettler thing's fantastic. I think you've done amazing and yes, absolutely giggable. I would need some work to get mine giggable. No matter what I do, the Lexicon's just too noisy. I really had hopes that doing the TRS balance thing, it's just it's just no way.
I tell you where I'd like to hear it next, and this sets up the £750 challenge quite nicely. Is I think where that needs to sit is in an effects loop. I really do.
Yeah. Okay.
So
fascinating. All right.
Yeah.
Let's give that a go.
So insert some awesome story here about how another £250. No, let's forget about it. Let's say another 500 quid comes into the thing. So now, with what we have here, the next video is going to be £1,000. Your total budget is £1,000 to do whatever you want with. Analog's gone crazy, made a mix up in her cryptocurrency maybe and left us too much cash. But the next one is £1,000, right? So we've now got another £500 to spend, which is a significant amount of money.
That is.
A huge amount of money.
Yep. I'm getting on Facebook Marketplace. I'm going to move on a bunch of stuff. I will try that in a loop. But yeah, okay, perfect.
Cool.
Perfect, Bree.
All right.
Hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. Please head to thatpedalshowstore.com where we've got the merch, and that's the main way we support the show. So check it out. Yeah.
Yeah, and thank you to our preferred retailers, Andertons and Pedal Empire in Australia, Andertons in the UK and Europe. Please visit their websites and buy some stuff. And also to our patrons on Patreon.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your support. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Do join us on Mondays, 5 p.m. British time, where we can talk about all of this stuff and you can berate us for our dreadful choices.
Magic. Thanks, everyone.
We'll see you soon. Bye.